Okay, everybody, we're going to talk a little bit today about the blues now. We've spoken about the blues earlier in this particular class. And when we were speaking of the blues earlier, we were really speaking about how the blues is formed, the architecture of the blues. In other words, what chords belong in the blues, and we said at its bare minimum 3 different chords to play a blues. That's why it was so popular, very accessible to play, very easy to play. Okay, so earlier again we were talking about the form of the blues. It's 12, most of the time 12 bars long, 3 different chords which can be substituted and changed any way the artist would like, which made it very flexible. Okay, now we're going to talk about the blues, the poetry of the blues, or I have the blues, the emotions of the blues. Okay, the lyrics of the blues, not the chords that go with the blues. Okay, and again, the blues are present in today. They're very present in all types of different music, not just in the blues itself, but in jazz. It's a common language for all jazz musicians. The blues are prevalent in pop music, okay, and in rock and roll. So blues are highly influential type of music. Without the blues, we could not have jazz. Okay, is the blues jazz? Well, good question. The blues is played by jazz musicians all over the world, but the blues is its own type of music, really. Okay, the blues combined with a type of music called ragtime really went on to form jazz music. Okay, so the blues are really a separate entity that influenced jazz in a large way. Okay, if we listen to some of the early work song, if you go back to YouTube and just hit work songs, you're going to hear how they could transfer directly into the blues. Okay, just field hollers, ho ho, that kind of thing transfers right into the blues. Okay, and that's why we're going into the blues out of African and slave culture music. Okay, as you can see down here, the blues borrows many elements such as the vocal quality, call and response, and other aspects from African music. All right, let's talk about the text. Again, the blues is it's a very simple form of communication. That's why it's so popular. It's also very, it's a great emotional type of music, easy to communicate your emotions through. And anybody can write a blues. You and I can write a blues now. Maybe we'll do that for a homework assignment. We'll write a blues. So let's talk about how would you write a blues. Okay, the words are basically call and response. In other words, first you make a statement. It's 4:05 and I'm feeling mighty tired. Okay? It's 4:05, then you repeat it. It's 4:05 and I'm feeling mighty tired. Then you have to do a response, and that response normally would rhyme. I'm so tired, I really don't want to get wired. Okay? Maybe not the best blues, but I was doing it on the spot today. So again, we have a statement, a repetition of that statement, and a response. Okay? So it'd be easy for you right now to make up a blues. It'd be no problem for you to make up a blues. Okay? And no problem for early blues artists to make them up. And that's why it was so popular. It's so easy to do and so flexible. And again, it's a good way to express the emotions. The interesting thing about the blues is this. The blues make us happy, right? When we sing the blues or hear the blues, it makes us happy. It takes our blues away. Okay? So, interesting little oxymoron about the blues. As it says here on this PowerPoint, each stanza or phrase is a complete story. Okay? So it's 4:05 and I'm feeling mighty tired. That's a complete story. And we can make up anything. It's Sunday afternoon and I'm feeling mighty low. Okay? Text, as it says there, text is often topical, meaning topics of the day or topics of the place that you live. Okay? So we're really going to cover 2 different types of blues in this class. There are more than 2 different types of blues, yes. But for this class, we're just going to cover 2. And that would be the country or rural blues and the urban or city blues. Okay? So what would the country blues talk about? Topics of the country: farming, poverty, things that weather, things of that nature. What would the city blues talk about? Maybe more about paying the rent, crime, traffic. Okay? So, as it says here in this slide, blues commonly discusses men and women and our problems that have been ongoing since the beginning of time. As I said earlier, it's a very personal form of communication. And sometimes early blues, especially country blues, acts were solo. I think that was to maximize, it says there, freedom to create new lyrics on the spot, and the freedom for adding harmonies or not playing harmonies, doing whatever they wanted to do with their guitar, not having to worry about another artist helping them out. Okay, so let's continue on now with the rural blues, or as we call it, country blues, some of the aspects. It was primarily located in the South, okay, in the southern part of America, down Louisiana, Mississippi, those areas. And again, there are a lot of different types of blues: Mississippi Delta blues, Chicago blues, all sorts of different blues. But we're just going to talk about country and city. Okay, so this music was a communicative type of music. Was not meant to make money off of. It was for sole pleasure of the audience or the friends, your group of family, and the performer. Okay. Sometimes these performers were blind. I don't know why. And this was a music that was normally sung by men. Okay. So, and a lot of times they were solo acts. Again, to maximize the freedom of expression. All right. We have, like African music, we have just a really practical voice. Okay. Rough style and diction. Diction refers to the way we enunciate words. Okay. So I have very good diction right now. So, and that music could be rough, really tied together diction. A lot of the music was improvised, okay, again, to give a lot of freedom for these artists. And we're going to find with all this music that we cover in jazz that we find an artist that pioneers the style and an artist who really cultivates the style, okay? In early country blues, we find little form. Although we've said it, 12-bar blues is standard, in early jazz, we don't have a real standard form until the music is played for a while. Okay, so there might be 12 bars of music, but there might not. There might be 3 different chords, or there might not. A lot of freedom is what we're trying to express here. Simple chords, simple lyrics. Okay, and again, sung alone or with guitar accompaniment. Okay. Unsophisticated. All right, so who were some of these early performers of the blues? Well, Huddie Leadbelly Ledbetter was one of the most famous blues pioneers. He was actually a work song leader. We saw a picture of, we saw a YouTube video of a work song in that last lecture, and he was a work song leader. So he would have been the one leading the group, and he always said that he was very lucky because he sang songs while other people sweated. So he thought he was smart for that. This was actually a person that was found by a couple from New York City, the Lomaxes. They were going around the United States looking for African American folk songs and early American folk songs, collecting them, and they heard Huddie Leadbelly perform, and they brought him to New York City, and they started to record him singing. And there's the quote that I just read earlier to you today. So again, early blues performer, Huddie Leadbelly Ledbetter. They called him Leadbelly because he was shot in the belly and he survived. So let's check out this is a cut. This isn't exactly a blues, but it's a good example of his voice and how he sang. So hope you enjoy this. If we can get it up here.
Now this is a Grey Goose. Down in my home, people go to church on a Sunday, a Baptist church. And I had a preacher which was the pastor of that church. And instead of he going to church that Sunday, he went out and tried to kill a Grey Goose, and the goose is still laughing at him. One Sunday morning, Lord, 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 preacher went a hunting. Lord, 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 he carried on a shotgun. Lord, 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 come a Grey Goose. Lord, 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 the gun went off the room. Lord, 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 John come the Grey Goose. feather picking. Lord, 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 they were 6 weeks of picking. And Lord, 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 put him on the pebble. Lord, 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 he was 6 weeks of boiling. And they put him on the table. And the fork wouldn't stick him. And the knife wouldn't cut him. And they threw him in the hog pen. And the hog couldn't eat him. And they broke the hog teeth out. And they put him in the sawmill. And the saw couldn't cut him. And they broke the saw teeth out.
Really projects.
And the last time I see him, Lord, 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 flying across the ocean. Lord, 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 with a long finger golden. Lord, 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 in the old quack, quack, quack. Lord, Lord, Lord.
Okay, there you go, Huddie Ledbelly. Ledbetter, and you can find a lot of his, he has a lot of YouTube clips there. So, okay, let's see here if I can get back to my PowerPoint here, which is somewhere. Okay, where'd you go, PowerPoint? There you are. Okay, great. So, the Huddie Ledbelly. The person who went on to carry this tradition and to really cultivate it was someone by the name of Robert Johnson. Very popular blues singer and composer. Okay, popular blues singer and composer. One of the things he is noted for was his development of the slide guitar technique, which now you see people using it a lot. You just see a glass piece of tube over their finger on the fretboard of a guitar, and they slide it up and down the fretboard of the guitar, giving a really unique sound. You hear it a lot in country music as well on the flat guitar. Slide guitar. So Robert Johnson was one of the pioneers of that guitar technique, and you can see heavily influenced by Huddie Ledbetter, and was killed for messing around with another man's wife. So that'll teach an important lesson. So here we go. Here's a YouTube cut of Robert Johnson, and this is a very unique YouTube cut. I don't know who put this together, this presentation. I think there's Angelina Jolie holding a saxophone. But this particular tune, Crossroad, is a composition by Robert Johnson. Okay? And I want you to listen to this. Pay more attention to the music than you do to the video. You can hear that slide guitar sound.
Everybody pass me by. The sun's going down, boy. Sun's gonna catch me here. Boy, sun's gonna catch me here. I believe I'm sinking down.
So there's Robert Johnson's Crossroads for you. And actually, Robert Johnson enjoyed a great resurgence in popularity a couple of years ago. There's several different box sets you can get of his music that have been reissued. And another important thing to know about the blues is they really influenced early rock and roll. Matter of fact, early rock and roll is basically this type of blues with a new beat put to it by young white kids to call their own. So, matter of fact, the Beatles, when they were becoming very successful in the United States, they could not believe their success because all they were doing was taking American black blues music and adding their own little beat to it, and they were selling it back to us in the United States. So it was really our music that was transformed by the greatness of the Beatles coming back to us. So a lot of these early rock and roll artists were all influenced by the blues artists, as were all of the early jazz artists. But back then it wasn't really called jazz. It wasn't a type of music. In the late 1800s, it was just beginning to be developed. So I want to show you that same tune. We just listened to Robert Johnson's Crossroads. I want you to hear another version of that by the great Eric Clapton of rock and roll fame. So this is one of Eric Clapton's versions of Crossroads, and you've probably heard this tune by the Byrds. It was very famous. I think the Byrds, or was it Cream? You can see it's down here by Cream. But anyhow, very famous tune. This is Eric Clapton's version of that same tune.
Robert Johnson was the king of that era. And, you know, if you listen to everything else that came after, everybody took some of his playing. In terms of the spirit and the soul of what he gave to the blues, it was the first thing that shook me up.
There's a great Eric Clapton improvising over Crossroads. Again, is that jazz? No. It's a rock guitarist, a great rock singer, playing the blues. Okay. So again, the blues still really happening today, still influence all different types of music going on. All right, let's move on now to urban blues or city blues. A little different than country blues. One of the main reasons is that these people were now making money singing the blues and playing the blues. Okay? So unlike country blues, this was popular in the North, in larger cities, New York City, Chicago, places of that nature. Okay? Wasn't as rural, obviously. It was not for personal entertainment. It was to make money. It was show business, in a way. Okay? So, in the North, they discuss city life, as we talked about. This music is now being found in professional entertainment places like clubs, okay, nightclubs. Okay? And again, the musicians are getting paid to play this type of music and to sing this type of music. Unlike the country blues, we have mostly women singing the city blues. So, and this is again more of a concert music, not for self-entertainment. Not for self-entertainment. So these people were singing in big cities, and they had white customers that were paying for these black singers. Okay. And this goes on, obviously, throughout the big band era as well, early big band in Harlem at the Cotton Club. But that's a whole other story. So those are some characteristics of urban blues. So let's talk about, well, I guess we have to finish up some other characteristics. Sorry. Like the other type of blues, rural blues, we have, again, topics of men and women, sex-oriented subjects. We have, again, entertainers now. So we have a theatrical style going on. Now, unlike the country blues, we have this blues is being performed with a jazz band accompaniment. Sometimes a piano and a bass player and a drummer. Sometimes a piano, bass player, a drummer, and some horns, or a small band. Okay. Remember, the rural blues was performed with usually just guitar accompaniment. Unlike rural blues, which had a lot of improvisation and flexibility, this music had little improvisation. Matter of fact, a lot of this music, city blues, was written down. So that's really different, okay? We have now a standard blues chord progression. We have the standard form showing up a lot more, 12-bar blues, 16-bar blues. We have steady tempo, a 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? So it's starting to really develop into what we now know as the blues, okay? All right. The first person we want to just discuss briefly is W.C. Handy. W.C. Handy was a cornet player, actually. He was a school teacher, but realized he could make more money as a musician, so was on the road a lot. Some of the aspects of the blues that he's contributed greatly to, as it says here, number 1, largely responsible for the spread of the blues. Why was that? Because he started a publishing company and published his music. Okay, so now we're not just handing down music from an oral tradition. We're having music that's written down, the notes are written down, and people can go buy this music, okay, and play it in their homes if they wanted to. So he's spreading the popularity of the blues because it's being published, and he's also making money on his published songs. So it was good for music, and it was good for W.C. Handy. Again, he's known as the father of the blues. That'll probably be on a test somewhere. Okay, he wrote one of the most standard early jazz compositions, and it's called St. Louis Blues. And although it's called St. Louis Blues, it doesn't really follow the blues form as we know it, but it does have a bluesy character to it. A lot of times it's played in a Dixieland feel, but this is probably his most famous composition. We're going to check it out. And again, this YouTube video we're going to watch is kind of goofy, but I think it's fascinating as well. I think maybe it was a jazz appreciation students project. There's some really weird photos. Actually, I should say there's some really great photos and historical information. But the music that accompanies it is really quite different, as you'll find out here in a second. So check it out. And check out the facts here that this person has written on their PowerPoint. Good facts. Gotta love that. Early jazz music. Again, good track. Okay, this is St. Louis Blues here, the tune that he wrote, and this is actually him playing on it.
Rob the jewelry store and tell him to make me a grip.
These are just more good pictures of W.C. Handy.
Had a whole top diamond in the bottom rose gold.
Here we go. This is St. Louis Blues. But it's actually kind of comical, and a lot of good facts about W.C. Handy, father of the blues. So wrote St. Louis Blues, and again started publishing blues. Really important for all of us. Okay, let's move on here to Ma Rainey. Ma Rainey, known as the mother of the blues, again an early blues role model and pioneer of the style. Then we're going to find Bessie Smith, who comes along and really cultivates the style. Okay, early blues role model. What's really important about her, besides she was a foundation of which the blues was built on, she was one of the first female vocalists to perform with the jazz band accompaniment. So she kind of set the standard of having a jazz band play with her instead of just a guitar player or something like that. So Ma Rainey, mother of the blues, you're going to hear her kind of again, even though these people were theatrical and they were entertainers, still a bit of a raw vocal style to these performers. Okay? So here are the Deep Moanin' Blues.
Daddy, Daddy, please come home to me. Daddy, Daddy, please come home to me. I'm on my way, crazy as I can be.
Okay, there you have Ma Rainey. Again, I was trying to tell you that was performed, let's see if it says here, with a jug band, a band with like just big jugs, and boom. If you're hearing some sort of weird instruments going on there, that's what you're hearing. Okay, so again, one of the early pioneers of jazz, Ma Rainey. And then we go to, again, a figure who really cultivated the form and was very successful with the form. And if you hear the word diva being thrown around a lot, but this would be really a blues diva. Bessie Smith, also known as the Empress. So we have the father of the blues, the mother of the blues, and now we have the Empress of the blues with Bessie Smith. Okay, very successful, powerful, big woman. Could take care of herself in bars and in confrontations. Had a very powerful voice, very expressive. One thing that was unique about Bessie Smith, one aspect, as you can see here in this PowerPoint, she's making a lot of money. $20,000 a year in the 1920s is a lot of money. So that was one really great aspect. She also appeared in a motion picture, which was very rare for early blues singers. So a couple interesting things about Bessie Smith. Very successful. Unfortunately, she died in a car accident at a very young age. So we lost her a little bit early. But let's check out this video of her singing, so you can hear her great voice. So here we go, Bessie Smith.
Loving is the thing I crave. For your love I'd be your slave. You gotta give me some. Yes, give me some. Can't you hear me pleading? You gotta give me some. Said Miss Jones, don't put your peace. I want a piece of your good old meat. You gotta give me some. Oh, give me some. I crave your round steak. You gotta give me some. Sweetest candy in a candy shop is just your sweet, sweet lollipop. You gotta give me some. Please give me some. I love all these suckers. You gotta give me some. You gotta give me some. Oh, give me some. Fetch it when you come, sir. You gotta give me some. Hear my crying on my bending knee. If you wanna put my soul at ease, you gotta give me some. Please give me some. Can't stand it any longer. You gotta give me some. Zebra called the Campbell sugar lump. Said I'm going crazy about your hump. You gotta give me some. Please give me some. I can't wait 8 days. You gotta give me some. Hey, Bud said to the peckerwood, I'll let you peck like a pecker should. But give me some. Yes, give me some. I'm crazy about them worms. You gotta give me some.
Okay, you got to give me some. Bessie Smith, so one of the great blues singers in history. Again, you can hear a lot of growling going on when she's singing, and great expression in her voice when she's singing. So, Okay, those are some of the early blues singers that we're going to talk about. Make sure you know their names and which type of blues they were singing. I just have one other slide here talking about the effects of blues on instrumental jazz. Okay, why is it such an important aspect in jazz? Why do we cover the blues? Because it's a common language to all players. Every jazz player can play the blues. That's where we start playing jazz. That's the beginning of our schooling as jazz players, is learning the blues and how to play the blues. So I can travel to any city pretty much in the United States or in Asia or Europe and find a jazz musician, and we can play the blues together on the spot. That's really unique, and that's, again, a common language to all of us. Okay, again, it's a very extremely flexible form, both speaking harmonically, the chords that we play, and lyrically and melodically, with an endless amount of variations on that form. So we just keep repeating the form, but adding an endless amount of variations. Okay, as it says there, the blues can be harmonically altered to be as complex as we want it to be. Okay, it can be as complex or as simple as we really want it to be. So that's our discussion today on the blues. So we've covered early influences on jazz, African music, slave culture music, and some early blues artists. So hope you enjoyed that. We'll see you next time.